Alrighty, everyone, welcome to today's video. I hope you all are doing well and staying blessed. If you guys are new here, my name is Jeremiah and I am a small cap stock trader. Today is unfortunately a small red day. I am sitting in the red about 84 cents. So nothing to have a fit about, but at least it's not a huge red day, especially with yesterday's green day being $72. I can breathe easy with a small loss like this. The low of the day was $17, I believe. So that would have been close to max loss. I think for now my max loss will be about 20 bucks, considering the fact that we are seeing a little more volatility than we were before, and the market is starting to heat up a little bit. But yeah, low of the day was about 17 bucks or 16. I think 17. Anyways, we'll go over my trades here. My first trade was on AUUD. This stock had a flow of 400,000 shares. It's a U.S. company and a technology company, and they had news about it says Audia expands AI infrastructure moat with 14th patent supporting distributed edge data center deployments. So this popped up early in the morning at 6 a.m. I actually believe I thought it was 4 a.m. No, it was 6 a.m. Okay, at 6 a.m. it popped up, and so we were kind of already on the backside of the move here where I was trading it. I was thinking maybe if we get above 50, I'd be interested in it because above 50 we could go for the break over this pivot and the break through the high of day. But the only issue was it kind of went too early and started to run into ascending resistance, and it actually rejected. But you guys will see right here. Here's the trade I took on it, and I sort of got in high at 48. Really high fill. Wow, that was super late. Let's see when I press my button. I pressed it when there's orders going through at 46 and 47. Yeah, I get filled at 48. So I get in right before that little squeeze there up to that high, and we just top out there at 50, 54. So I wasn't in profit for long, and I actually ended up unwinding that for a $6.39 loss. Not the end of the world, not a huge loss, and I don't think this got to me emotionally in any sort of way, so I was okay. And I'm glad I sold because after we saw a huge flush right there. So good thing I sold, and I guess it was worth a shot. However, the thing is with this stock, we've already seen these topping tails, so I should have known, and I probably should have stayed away and not gotten in the middle of a green candle as it's pulling away. The best setups to take on this, I would say, are probably a micro pullback. So it does a micro pullback, you get in at the low or near the low, and then as it pops up, you can take profit knowing that it's probably going to be a topping tail, or if it comes back down, you sell for a small winner or even break even. So the next stock I traded was TRT. This stock had, I think, a really low float. Let me see. It had a float of 5 million shares, so not super low float, but pretty low float. And it did have news, not today actually. It did not have news today. So this is a no news stock, and I think that's where I made the mistake. I kind of just looked at this thing pop up, $1 a share, and I'm like, okay, well, I might as well jump in. I mean, when $1 a share high, then it'll probably go higher. But as I take my dip off of 50, that's not exactly. It didn't go to plan, and that's not really a dip off of 50 because it's not really holding 50. But I took it with 8 shares, so it wasn't too bad of a loss. And so I try to get filled there on the ask. Once again, selling on the ask, it's not even worth trying, especially on a stock like this. You have 30-cent spreads right now, so just selling on the ask, it's like, forget about it. Obviously, if it's pulling away, that's different, but it's struggling, and that's the whole reason I'm selling in the first place. So selling on the ask, should have known better, but and I do get out on the ask, I believe. Maybe I sold it on the bid, I don't remember. But that ended up being another $6 loss, so now I'm down 12 bucks, and I'm just like, all right, well, looks like things aren't really going my way today. And if you look at the 10-second, this looks absolutely terrible. We have these doji candles, and they're all red here. So straight chop where I got in. Straight chop. Next trade I take is a dip there. And this one I think ended up working for a second, but ultimately ended up failing. Maybe I took profit on this? I don't remember. Should have. And that one ended up being a little 20-cent winner, about 20 cents of a winner. Not bad, not bad. So I take another trade here as it bounces off of VWAP. Honestly, I don't know what my entry was. I think I was anticipating the first candle to make a new high. This is really just not a good setup to be taking when I'm already down. If I was gonna get first candle to make a new high, I would probably wait for confirmation, but or hop it on a dip like that. But that didn't even work on this stock, so yeah, just not a good trade, not a trade I should be taking. Let's see if there was even green on the tape for that to be a viable dip at the moment. The dip's down for a sec. And just straight red going through. Yeah, I mean, heavy selling on this stock. No news as well, so to be taking the most trades on this stock is just foolish. I don't know why I did it, but I did, and obviously backfired on me. So this next trade I took was on AUUD again. I don't really know what my thinking was on this. Maybe a possible pivot there. I really don't know, to be quite honest with you guys. I think it was the fact that it closed above VWAP, and I was trying to get it on a dip and rip there. I think that could be it. I don't get filled on the ask, of course. And I end up selling on the bid as it pops up, but that ends up being a loss, which honestly really frustrated me. So I was in at 55. Let's see where I sold. It's at 58, bro. We're seeing orders go through at 56 right now. And I'm getting filled there. Man, that's a little frustrating. But the spreads are big. The bid was at 51 when I sold, so I suppose that makes sense. It's just frustrating that there were orders going through at 56. Anyways, it is what it is. I got out immediately by selling on the bid, but didn't get a fill I wanted. That's going to happen. But better safe than sorry, I suppose, right? If that was a flush, I would have been mad that I tried to sell on the ask. In any case. All right, so the next stock I traded was CPIX. This stock has a flow of 8.72 million shares, and it did have news at 8 a.m. today, 8 a.m. yesterday, but it also had news today at 9 a.m. today, saying Cumberland Pharmaceuticals announces strategic transition to integrate commercial business with Apotex Cumberland Pharmaceuticals Inc. So seems like a really good headline, or I don't even know if that's a really good headline. It seems like an okay headline. The only thing I don't like about it is these big doji candles. These are kind of rejection candles right here. We had first candle make a new high, rejection, and then this break through the high of day, rejection. And yes, I said I shouldn't be trading the other stock because it had those topping tails, but I mean it worked here. So I mean it's kind of hard to decide. If I feel I can get a read on it, then maybe I'll trade it, but I don't know. This one ended up working for me, so the first trade I took, this was risky. I'm buying in the middle of a green candle as it's squeezing up. Like this could be another doji candle just like this one, or shooting star. But I felt like it kept hitting its head and it was about to break at any moment. And that's exactly what we got. So this is sort of like an intuition and entry. I don't think there was like a really good setup. There's a micro pullback right there. If I got on that would make more sense. But that ended up being a $5.60 trade. So not bad. Kind of digging myself out of the hole a little bit. Does squeeze a little bit higher, but it's sort of grinding, and I'm not really that interested in trading a grinding stock. but I do end up finding a few more setups that work for me here. So as it broke above 50, I was thinking, okay, dip and rip off of 50. I get in there as it's dipping, and I get filled up pretty much the open of the candle, and I sold into strength there, which I think it was the right thing to sell because it was so thickly traded that it just didn't feel like it had the potential to just really squeeze and give us $1 a share move. I was happy with getting a small winner there. I get filled at 69. The high of that candle was 72. So not a bad trade. That was for 9 cents a share and now brought me down to only $7.70 on the day. So after a while, I had drawn out the daily levels on this stock, and it seemed like there was a lot of levels in play here. I do take a risky entry. This is a breakthrough, a daily level, but it seemed like we'd already broken through them. However, this one had rejected, and this time it seemed a little stronger, having 4 green candles, or 3 green candles prior to this one that I got in on. However, nonetheless, still a risky entry, and there's still always the chance that it rejects. But we do have this lower wick, which makes me feel a little bit better about it. Whereas, a stock with no lower, a candle with no lower wick, I feel like there's a little more risk of seeing a topping tail or a shooting star candle. So jump in there with 40 shares. It's already struggling. I'm sort of like, I don't know about it, but it ends up pulling away to 6 right there. And I know this stock's a grinder, so I end up getting out where I could have held it, but it popped up and came right back down to where I got out. So I wasn't really I wasn't that mad about it. So now I'm up $14 on CPIX. I take one more trade, and that's a micro pullback here. So as it dips, I jump in. I get filled at the low. I love that so much. It's a great entry. But it starts rejecting. I'm like, yo, what the heck? If this rejected, I would have been fuming. So I got out there for 4 cents of profit on 40 shares. So that brought me to up about 16 bucks on CPIX and down only 83 cents on the day. So not a big red day at all. That's my P&L for the day. I may have said 84 cents, but anyways, no big deal. 83 cents red day, not the end of the world. And I'll take that over being in the red, 16 bucks or 17 bucks. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all found this helpful in some sort of way. If you guys did, feel free to subscribe, hit that like button. If you guys are new here, I stream every single day, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so if you guys are interested, you can feel free to tune in. But with that, I will see you all in the next one.